Hello and welcome to the top of the world. And here we are on top of the top of the world. Yeah, you can see I've taken the roof off the scaffolding on the upper layer because the sun's shining and the weather's warm and I need to crack on with this side of the building. So before I start prepping it for paint, I've got to take all the window trims off. They're all old and manky and horrible, and they used to be black and they're just nasty. And when I did the other side of the building 3 years ago, I made all the trims for this side. So I can literally take these off, sling them over the side, and once I've got all the window trims off, then I can start prepping this side for paint. Right, show you the different stages and help you understand. So I'll show you the good. So this is Charlotte's bedroom, and when I was, after we'd secured and fixed and jacked up and put all the new roof beams in, the first room to be built was Charlotte's. And her windows came out and got renovated downstairs on the bench. Sashes. This is what we're looking at, sashes. So they're completely done. But the window frame, of course, is not. And I took these out and put them in because there was a fire escape here. And I could stand on it. This is pre-scaffolding. We only scaffolded end of last year. These next three sets of windows, 1, 2 and 3, have all been renovated whilst in situ on the inner two panes, the inner two windows. They've not been touched on the outside. Alright, so we don't need to take these out. We can paint them while they're there. And put in new putty and fix the putty. And done. But we don't need to take these windows out. And this is this hole. This was part of the collapse of the building. You can see just slightly there, this all bowing in. Well, there was another big bolt like this. This is no good. Right, this has got to come out of it. This is what used to hold the building together. And you can see the collapse of the wood here. They just had this small metal plate and they put these right above the windows. I mean, bad building practice, just beyond what'd you say, beyond fucking ridiculous. I mean, just no brain cells, none. Why wouldn't you put the beams that support right between the windows so you add something, some substance? So there's no way of locking the timber in between the top of these window frames, right, and the underside of the soffit, which is there. These are just, there's nothing there. And then you put these big bolts in and you bolt it together and you think that's going to hold the building together. Well, it don't. It don't. It probably does for the first 20, 30 years, but after that, it's done. So all this distortion and all this damage on this wall was because these bolts had pulled through, the walls had all bowed out. So this wall now, I can tell you for a fact, is dead straight. It wasn't. It was bowing out like this, you know, at an angle, in a big way. So what we've done is we jacked the building, the ridge up, pulled all the walls back together from inside, from big beams, and put new A-frames up. And we did all that without scaffolding on this side, because all the rot in the building was on the other side, and we had to do away with a number of window frames and replace a lot of walling because the rot had got in because there was a leak in the roof. And upstairs here hadn't been used for, well, the school closed in 1979. We purchased the building at the end of 2016. So all the figures, right, I don't know how many years that is, but this wasn't used. These were all boarded up. And there was a leak in the roof, it rotted, and it was in danger of collapse. So we were actually living on the other end of the building, and every winter for 4 winters, we could hear this. Anyway, it's done now. So these are off. So now it's about preparing all the walls and the window frames. And then we'll mask up the window frames and we'll paint down to the first level, which is just under the windowsill of the windows. Now these here, these 4 windows, this is the hallway inside here. Right, some of you will recognise it. We're a bit too fat to get past there. Right, there's the kitchen. Okay, but these windows here have never been touched, so they're out except this one, and they're downstairs being painted now. So all the window trims off. We don't need to replace the window trims on this one because they were done off a ladder, because the bathroom on the inside's been done. So this is where you can see we're done. That's where the scaffolding was last year. Yep, still got my old van, look, and my first car. And anyway, so now we're going to prep the walls. And we're using acrylic paint on this. 2 base coats, 2 top coats, because it's already got acrylic paint on it, and I can't use nothing else. You can't put nothing but acrylic on top of acrylic. But this is definitely the better side, because you can see now we're early afternoon and the sun's nowhere near us because we're north facing. So this elevation is subject to weather, but not so much to sun. Right, anyway, so insulation. There's no insulation in the walls, and what we have, right, is horsehair stuffed in the window gaps. So there is, and I'll repeat, no insulation in the walls of this old school. None. 0 zip diddly. There is no insulation. I have just quickly made up some fly screens because over the last year I've changed all the inside of the windows, haven't we? We put window boards all round, and you know, some of you have seen the videos. Anyway, so I need to take that off and repair the outside of this walling because it's pulled right in there. I need to remove that big iron rod and then prep for paint and prep the gutter, and also repair these. So this damage happens with the ice. You know, as the ice comes off, it pulls these out. We have this every year, and they should be tucked right back in under there, and they're not. And the ice gets hold of them and wrenches them out, and the gutter becomes loose, and the gutters are not great. They're rusting through in places. But you'd say, well, why are you there? So I'm replacing. Well, I can't replace the scaffolding, the guttering. I can't do it. I can't really afford to paint on the walls. Definitely can't afford to replace the guttering. So I have to repair the guttering and fix it where it's damaged, and then paint it. Because there's some things I can do and some things that are just beyond the realms of financial possibilities. And like I say, the paint, well, I've got paint left over from the end elevation from last year. Have I got enough to paint this entire elevation? There is a lot of windows in these side elevations, which is a bit of a saving grace. There's actually less square meterage of wallage than you might imagine. But anyway, let's get it going. We've got a leak here. I'm assuming it's coming from out of there. And this is the bad side, the acid side, because this is the side of the roof that the chimney's on. And, you know, the ash and acid, it comes down this side. And you can see where that guttering's damaged there. See where it bows out. I've got to reshape it and fix it. That's the ice that does that. Anyway, that's all the trims off. And is there anything I can do about insulating? No, there's nothing I can do. In order to insulate the walls, you would have to build a whole wall on the outside, which will leave the windows recessed. And anyway, there's no insulation in the walls, none, because we had the other side cut open and the window frames out, and there's no insulation, nothing. Anyway, there you go. I don't suppose they thought they needed, well, wasn't that, did they? I mean, they built it in a rush in 1948, yeah, and this is not the only one. So there's another building identical to this. There's probably more than the one I know about. But these schools were all built off of the same plan and built by the same crew, and they literally went from one to the next, from the mid-40s right up until probably the 50s, building these schools as the population exploded in the north. And the population exploded in the north because of the railway and then the road. So the railway was built up here, and that allowed people to come up and goods come up, and then the road was built. And prior to that, it was horse and cart track. How do I know that? Because Thomas, a lot of you, Thomas, my good friend who passed last November, his parents used to do the trip south to buy sugar and salt with a horse and a sleigh. One generation away. Anyway, there we go. Let's get on to doing these walls. I must admit, I've been quite bad filming this elevation. I'm pretty sure the last footage you saw was me taking off the window trims. And then after that, I've removed some windows, which I'll show you in a minute, which you can't see. I've taken the wood back, all the bad paint off the wood. It's had 2 base coats and 2 top coats, and all the red is finished. The guttering has all been painted black. That is now finished. And I'm working on fitting the new window trims. Well, I'm kind of disappointed, really. I made these, I think 4 years ago when we did the other elevation. While I was making the trims, I made the trims for the entire building all at the same time, painted them all at the same time. They've been sat inside in a room, downstairs, heated room, and the paint is not white. So I'm a bit perplexed as to why the paint is no longer white. And I've got to repaint them anyway, because I have to repaint over the screws that I'm putting them in. And I'm putting these in with screws because, as some of you will remember, I had a lame shoulder months ago. Well, it's not got any better. I can't hammer nails anymore. I can't hammer nails. I have trouble carrying a pot of coffee, to be honest. Anyway, I've retrained my left hand to do a lot of stuff, and I'm kind of all right. It's better than it was, but it's lame, and it's in the joint, so who knows what that is. I thought it was muscular to start with, but it's in the shoulder joint itself. Anyway, so we're screwing them, but as well as screwing them, it is now 1 week away from midsummer. The temperature today is, I think it's 12 degrees C, in the 40s Fahrenheit. So, welcome to my world. This is, we're just 10 days, I think, something like 10 days away from midsummer. We've had 24 hours of daylight for ages. The sunshine has been replaced by cloud, darkness, cold and rain. So we continue. So all the windows are now finished, except these windows here. So these 2 windows are downstairs being refurbed. I've had to leave one of the original windows in place. Right, so this is what we start with. This has not been taken out yet. This is the next window to go downstairs, and then this is what we end up with. Can we even see? Yeah. Oh, I was zoomed in. I don't know why I was zoomed in. Anyway, so you can see all the lovely red and the black work's done. And now you can see how these window trims are not white. They've got to be painted again, I grant you. And we're putting the window trims in. I apologise if there's any wind noise. Should I be wearing my microphone? Yes. Have I got a microphone? Yes, my daughter bought me one for Christmas. A really good one. And I always forget it's part of all the kit I've got to carry around. Like the filming, I've been in such a rush trying to do stuff and get it dried before the next bout of rain come. The last thing on my mind is to grab the camera. Some of you all know I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm a professional... well, anyway, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be now. Farmer, woodworker, builder, painter, general pain in the backside, I think. Anyway, so, that aside, we spend at least 5 months a year below 20 degrees, below 20 degrees C, minus 20 degrees C, in the bloody cold, is what I'm saying, for months. And it's not unusual to reach 30, 35 or 40 below freezing. And you can see me gaps between the window and the boarding. Perhaps you can't, I'll show you in a minute. They're filled with horsehair, and then these go over the top. So what I'm doing is I'm sealing the backs to try and reduce some of that extra cold air going in. Something me and my Sarah discovered when we pulled out the rotten wall and repaired the structure on the other side, which I don't think I've ever shown a video of. These walls have got no insulation in. So we have 2 pieces of 3mm glass here, and there is no insulation in the walls. So, it's a good job I cut a lot of firewood, is all I can say, because we're 100% wood fired, as most of you know. So I'm sealing these by running 2 strips of cork across the top, and then down the 2 sides. Like so. And I'm not putting them too tidy on the edge because I don't want the mould to squidge out. I just need to seal it back. It has squidged out in some places. I just need to seal it back to the wood. So I'm going to continue putting all the new window trims on. Convenient car going past. Is that likely to be the only car today? Yep. I forgot what I was saying now. Anyway, I'll just carry on and you can watch. That's why I'm screwing, because I can't nail. I can't do the... Anyway, there's a few things I can no longer do with my right hand. Sunday morning. I thought I'd do something that I want to do today because it's Father's Day, and we've put in the next two windows. I've got one still downstairs. It's still undergoing coats of paint, so I can't put it in yet. But I am finished up here. I've just cleaned all the windows. I'm fully painted. It's time to remove this top deck and go down to the next level. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to leave that one section there just so that I can get out and fit the last window. I'm going to remove all of that, and I'm going to remove what I'm standing on all the way down to there, down to the next level. That way I can start prepping the wall section underneath the windows. So they look nice now, superb. I'm pretty sure this is the first proper coat of paint this has had. I could be speaking out of turn. Since it was built and completed in 1948 and 47, and the reason I say that is because when I've been up under the eaves there's still raw wood that was never painted quite properly in the corners. Anyway, it's had sufficient coats now. The windows are all renovated. We're all good. Anything that's broken has been replaced. Now let's remove the floor. Okay, now we're down to the next level. What have we got on the next level? Well, from down there, it's really difficult to see how bad the paint is. But that's finished. That's where we're going. So you can see how bad it is. And that's finished. But I do grant you, I have had 2 comments, both from women, that says, oh, I don't know why you're painting it, it looks great. Right. Anyway, let's hope they haven't got to park in backwards anywhere. Right, I think we can get our cleaning equipment now and clean up the paint, ready for painting. I have no idea why my camera has now failed to record twice. Anyway, can't do it a third time because I finished the job. Right, we're down on this level now, and I've used my machine. Finished, unfinished, and now all the loose paint and nastiness has been removed. Right, you can quite clearly see finished, unfinished with paint removed. This is by far the worst elevation out of all of them. So north facing. So it gets a predominant winter and the sun in the afternoons and through the night. So it's definitely the worst elevation. And it's funny because you can see there, it like comes in patches. Presumably where it wasn't painted properly the first time, I don't know. Anyway, nice, finished, gonna finish. So we got rain tomorrow. I want to get 4 coats on this today. I do, that's the plan. And then once I've got 4 coats on this strip underneath the windows, we can go down to the next level, which is where all the other windows are. Down there. Next level. And you can see there's another row of windows all the way along, just like this row. Great. Right, that's all the loose stuff off. Now, Base coats. Needs two acrylic base coats. Oh, we've got 3 hours between coats. It's going to take me an hour a coat. 2 hour wait to one. Alright, let's crack into this. How's your knees, Simon? Fucked. Now that. It is an hour and a half a coat. Has my body been screaming at me? Yes. Have I got 2 coats on? Yes, I have. Is the second coat dry? Yes, it is. Is the sun starting to come round? Yes. It's coming when it turns that corner. Anyway, is everything about me saying that you just can't put another 2 coats on today, Simon? Yes. Are we going to get the other 2 coats on? Well, we're going to give it a good shot. So my knees, anyway, I've got these knee pads in, but my knee caps roll in the knee pads. I'm not sure which is the worst. Anyway, okay, so we've got our acrylic top coat down there, and yeah, we're gonna go for it. I've done the amazing, not the impossible, just the amazing. The sun turns the corner at 1800 every day, give or take a bit, and it ain't turned the corner yet. See, it's coming. Have I got all 4 coats on the outside? Oh yeah, I have. And not only have I got all 4 coats on the outside, I've done the black work. And then right down the end, I've done the little step down around that window. So all the paint is done. 4 coats on the walls, 2 coats on the black, and the last coat on the white. Done. I'm now ready to take this lot down, take the scaffolding down. What I might do is I might just go and have a sit down with a cup of coffee first. And I'm going fishing. I'm definitely going fishing. There's no question I'm going fishing. Well, I say fishing this time of year, 22nd of June. I might just be going for a ride on the boat. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, down the next section. Did I film the disassembly? No, but you can now see where I got to with the painting. nothing like a whack on the back of the head to remind you it's a man's world. Men built it, men take it away. Very cool, I think you will agree. I knew I was gonna run out of black paint almost as soon as I started, but you kind of get the idea. So after I finished this yesterday, and I did it as quickly as I could in the morning, because yesterday they forecast absolutely, categorically, no rain whatsoever. And then I've gone off to take care of the farm I'm looking after, and as I pulled up, my Sarah was already there doing some things. Anyway, then the sky went black, and this entire area behind us here was a lake. All of it. All of that was completely underwater. I've never seen so much rain come down so fast. Anyway, fortunately, the last of the second coats, top coats, are dried, so you can see where I'm going. All of this will be black, just like I've done on the other elevations. Squint, because here comes the sun. And we'll just continue that so you can see how good that came out. That's last year's elevation. Now this elevation over here took me 2 years, because we also did, for those that you remember, an awful lot of work to the structure of the building. So this is where all the rock was, and we had to take off the roof and support the roof and take out the wall. So that elevation was 3 and 4 years ago. This elevation was last year, replacing all the boards and the corners where required, and then the doors are boarded up, because eventually what I'm going to build here, where all this mess is there'll be a double garage and a porch over the doors, and this will be our private entrance. Anyway, and this is this year's. Done. Well, the black, I've got to get some more black paint and finish that off. So, and the boards that are on the bottom here, these are kind of, I say temporary. Eventually I want to concrete all these over, but not bad. So we replaced a lot of stuff here. We replaced a lot of stuff up there. Also, all the windows now are all done. We're moving the scaffolding up to the theatre, but I still have all this to sort out. So, you know, this is it's been like this for 40 years, 50 years, and you need to tidy it up and closing in. So there we go, that's the conclusion on this entire elevation. You saw me build the scaffolding. If you haven't, I'll put a link somewhere, or you can go and find it. I think it's a 100-foot wooden scaffolding. Anyway, you've seen me renovate the windows now, do the painting on this, pull it down, and finish it. I've got a little bit of black work to do up here, but I can do that from that window, and just finishing the black. But yeah, pretty good. I think I can get a better shot of it if I walk this way. Now there's no water. I bet me drain, detour, see? We think about too many different things. It's pooled so badly, these little bushes were underwater, which shouldn't even be here, because this is a car park. Yeah, I thought my drain was blocked. It took a long time. There was such a vast amount of water. Yeah, the inner drain's blocked as well. Oh, ouch! Can I even get it out? Better. That's why that was flowing really badly. Okay, put that back in. Am I going to attempt to do this one-handed? Yeah, you're going to cross your fingers, Simon, trying to be clever. That gets blocked regularly, and in order to get rid of the spring melt, I have to put a pole in here And the outlet for that drain is across the road here. There. And the water goes off and drains down by the railway. Where's the hole then? Oh, that's weird. Is this all blocked up this end? Oh yeah, look at that. Ah, and that's not going to help. That's supposed to be empty all the way through there. You can see the pipe. Right, that's silting up. That's probably going to need a machine in there to do that. Right, that's not good. I hadn't noticed that. It went like that 2 years ago. That's all this rain this summer. Okay, all right, well, told you I'll get distracted. And no, I wasn't responsible for this. This was the plough driver that ploughs up there. He came through with something in the spring, it was, and just tore up this hole. Anyway, everything's deteriorating. Right, look at that. Job's a good one. I think you'll agree. Well, except the black. Can't gloss over that. And the reason I'm rounding off the video here is because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get more paint to finish that off, but I will. And basically that's done. That's scaffold up, repairs done, windows and siding renovated, painted, scaffold down. And now, like I said to you, we take the scaffolding off up to the theatre and start scaffolding out that building, which I'll be starting on next year. Well, that'll round out this video and all the hard work I've done there. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.